The tunnel's an interesting course. It has more stuff to do in it depending on how many tools you have, so there's a lot of reason to come back for more than just the Pokemon sign. There's another special Pikachu photo involving Electrode that isn't worth it because the stump pick was so much better point-wise, and plenty of other Pokemon that are more than a little aggravating to get a good score on. But if you're good with your throwing arm, this is a fun course to fool around in. So then, Electrode. The first Pokemon you'll see is Electrode, and there are several more in the first cave up ahead. To get the best pose, take the photo while they glow white as they explode. Some explode on their own, but you can trigger the others to explode by hitting them with an apple or pester ball. It's easy to get full size and pose, so let's see if we can't collect a bonus by getting a second Electrode in the photo. The best way to do that seems to be with a third Electrode, which the second Electrode rolls up to and explodes. Time your pester ball just right and snap the photo. Electrode will inflate slightly before going off, so be wary of that too. Kakuna. There are several Kakuna hanging from the ceiling in the same room as the Electrode. They will all descend at once whenever an Electrode explodes, so an explosion going off right when you're near the best possible Kakuna is key here. In my experience, you can get the best result by making the fourth Electrode explode as you pass by, causing several Kakuna to fall right in front of you for what should be a pretty great shot. Take multiple photos and pick the best one. Zubat. Anytime you pass through a gate in this course, a Zubat will fly over you. He's in another course as well, but as he flies right in front of you, all you need for a decent photo here is a well-timed picture. He doesn't react to much else that you do. If I discover a way to get a better photo for him in a future course, I will go over that as well, but for now, this works out pretty nicely, just so long as you take it at the right time for the full size points. He's facing you directly, so pose is no problem whatsoever. Zapdos. You'll see Zapdos' egg across the room from where a Pikachu lurks. Lure the Pikachu close to the egg and play the Poke Flute to get his spark on, shocking the egg and causing it to hatch. The best photo for Zapdos is obtained right as it's hatching, so you need a little timing when you play the flute. In addition to giving a pretty great score if you get it right, Zapdos will also power up the generator, turning on the lights later on in the course, and this will be important for some of the Pokemon we photograph later. Haunter. At around this point you'll notice two floating purple balls. These are actually Haunter, but you can't really see them until the film develops, so there's no way to know for certain if he's facing you perfectly. You have to judge it based on two things. One, the direction the ball moves in. Second, if it lights up, that should mean he's turning in your direction. The second Haunter moves in a much easier to read pattern than the first, but do try out both of them to get a feel for when to shoot. Size is a nightmare here because Haunter appears bigger than the ball does when the film develops after the course is done, but it's not that hard a shot to get. Diglett. A Diglett pokes its head out of the ground near a Pikachu on the left. It will move each time you take a photo of it. Not much to say here. I haven't really figured out how to get size all that high, and there's only one Diglett at a time. The best I can say is to take the photo when Diglett extends upwards for better size points. Oh, and if you take enough pictures of him, Dugtrio will appear. Continue taking photos of Dugtrio and more of them will pop out of the ground. Use good timing and potentially slowing down with the C buttons, and make sure that all of their heads are above ground when you start snapping pictures. Many of them can appear, so this is far easier to get a good score on than Diglett was. Electabuzz. Across from Diglett, there are two Electabuzz that will be preoccupied trying to watch TV if Zapdos didn't hatch. If Zapdos did hatch, they will be moving around freely. Toss apples at them to lure them closer to you. You'll want to toss very early as soon as you enter the room to give yourself time for the shot, and also to get the second Electabuzz closer to the first for a bigger bonus. Also, take the shot while Electabuzz is eating for full pose points. Oh, and take note that unlike Pikachu, Electabuzz doesn't simply go after any new apples you toss, it eats the first apple it sees before moving on to the next one. This is a difference in his AI that you have to keep in mind when luring him into position. Pokemon sign. If you hatched Zapdos earlier, there will be an image of a pincer in the corner, and that's all, really. Magnemite. One of the most annoying Pokemon to photograph. If you look at it through the viewfinder, typically it starts using thunder waves to prevent the photo from working. You can distract them with apples, though, and they won't be able to thunder wave you then, but there's another issue. Oak only gives 800 points for a Magnemite snacking on an apple instead of the normal 1000 points you can get for pose. So not only do you have to lure them towards you, you have to take the photo before they start eating, with them facing you, and you can't bump into them or they will thunder wave you again. Worse, luring all three together for bonus points is even harder because if they all join together, they become a Magneton. Ironically, Magneton is very easy to get a perfect photo of compared to his unevolved self. There's only one of him, he can be lured with apples, and he does not thunder wave you. Just keep in mind that, for the best photo, you want to aim the camera in the center of the space between the three eyes. Your viewfinder won't have a red light, but Oak will recognize them as being in the center of the frame. And that's it for the tunnel. A simple course, yet containing some complicated Pokemon. Oh, and if you haven't figured it out, you can access the next course, the Volcano, by hitting the Electrode off to the side at the end of the course with an apple. Of course, everyone knew that already. This isn't a beginner's guide, but I felt like mentioning it in case anyone was seriously stuck. Well, the Volcano is up next, so look forward to some very hot Pokemon. Yes, Vulpix, your cute little butt is worth thousands of points in my report. See you later, guys.